Hey guys, so I want to do a speed and camera comparison here between two amazing phones in 2017. We do have the LG V20, which I have bought another one here. This is a black variant, which I've been using as my main phone actually for a while, because I'm actually bored of the 3T. And I wanted to compare with the OnePlus 5 because I think they're about the same kind of price here, both coming with dual cameras and pretty nice spec sheet. Definitely, I think some pros and cons to consider though between the two of them. So we're going to just check the performance as well as the camera in the low light as well as a good light. So I think both of them can be had for about €400. So maybe the V20 is a little bit cheaper nowadays because the 5 is obviously a newer phone. Both running Android Nougat. I think the Nougat is a little bit more up to date on the OnePlus 5, so you can see it does boot on that a little bit faster here, but obviously the V20 has a lot going on in terms of the background, like in terms of that hi-fi DAC and stuff. You also have a dual screen here, which is pretty epic. It can be used for notifications, it can be used for your multitasking and stuff. I think they might be getting rid of it actually for the next V series phones, so that's going to be quite disappointing to me because I do enjoy it. But nevertheless, we're going to have a look how they do compare here. So let's do a apps opening speed test first. Everything should be closed down here. Just check. This is 6GB RAM OnePlus 5 as well, for those of you interested. We do have to contend with the LG skin, which isn't too bad actually. It usually pushes the Android along quite nicely. And they do use their LG IPS display, which will be swapped for an OLED display for the V30. Some people do like LCD, and I think it does have some advantages. It's very bright in sunlight, but I think most people will look forward to the AMOLED display that they're going to use. Let's try the games here. I think so far you can see the 5 is a little bit faster day to day. It does have a much newer processor compared to Snapdragon 820. The problem I have with the OnePlus 5 is it just feels a bit boring, in comparison to other phones out here like the V20. I mean, just look how awesome that second display is. You can get access to your notifications when you're gaming. You can quickly go back into stuff. It'd be a damn shame if they get rid of it. But in terms of the raw speed, I'm probably going to have to give this to OnePlus 5. And that OLED display does look very nice as well. I do get some very weird games, I've got to say. Let's try a speed test here. So just see both run the same. Very good score here on the right with the Snapdragon 835. And will we be getting a OnePlus 5T? That is an interesting question, because that's what we did get last year with the 3T. If they do, then they should definitely, I think, add waterproofing. Hang on, I know what the problem is here. Let's just cancel this. One thing I have noticed with the V20 is that it doesn't like my router for some reason, so I have had to use it on the 2G band. I don't know why it just seems to load stuff slow in comparison to the 2G band. I'm just putting it on the 5G one here, so it's fair. There we go. So we just go back to the speed test app. And go. Yeah, you see it, for some reason it just doesn't like the 5G kind of speed here, which is a shame, but it's not that noticeable day to day. Hopefully they'll sort it out for the V30, and we can just have a look at the multitasking on both of them. So did we? Yeah, we did. Sometimes forget if we've opened up games or not. And you can see very comparable here. Why is the screen gone dull? So it seems to lower the brightness automatically on the OnePlus 5, which is weird. But you can see in terms of the multitasking here, very nice and comparable. The camera is absolutely amazing on the V20, like the amount of things you can do. It puts all others to shame. So yeah, you can see here, 4 gigs of RAM is enough at the end of the day for good multitasking when the software is done right. Absolutely perfect on both of them. Really, how do the cameras compare? A lot of people might be interested in that. So we did do some low light shots, as you can see, and you can just see the results here. Now, if I'm going to be strict, I'd say the 5 was a little bit clearer in some of them. However, the big trump card that the V20 has is the wide angle lens here, which allows you to get so much more into the shot generally. If you're looking at it from a head-to-head kind of perspective here, I'd say they're usually about comparable, but sometimes the OnePlus 5 does do a little bit better. Probably because it's a newer phone, but considering the age of the V20, I think it did pretty well overall. You can have a look yourself to see if you can see any differences here. You do get like a portrait mode on the OnePlus 5, which to me looks a little bit artificial in terms of the blur effect. It doesn't seem to look as good as what you're getting with the iPhone, but you don't get the wide angle lens like you do on the V20, which looks absolutely epic in terms of getting stuff in the shot. So it's a trade-off here, whether you like your portrait mode or your wide angle mode. Both of them are going to give you fantastic images. I think nevertheless, whichever one you do go for. And same can be said as well for the G6, which has a similar kind of camera setup as well. So how does the video compare? I did do this in kind of low light here. Both of them do 4K video, and I'd say it's about comparable really. Maybe the V20 is a little bit more smoother, I did find, but I think both of them have optical image stabilization. I can't quite remember on the OnePlus 5, I definitely know the V20 does, and you're not going to be too disappointed, I don't think, with either of them in that respect. So the thing where the V20 does pull ahead though is that it has much better manual controls for the video, and I think the audio is much better as well. Like, it's got some special features that the OnePlus 5 doesn't have. So there's definitely some reasons, to consider the V20 or G6 in terms of the video recording here, as well as the whole phone. In terms of like the hi-fi DAC, which you don't get with the OnePlus 5, the secondary screen, the removable battery, the expandable storage. The list could go on here. Hopefully, we do keep these things for the V30, at least some of them, because that is something that sets the phone apart from others on the market nowadays. So yeah, just a quick little comparison here between V20 and OnePlus 5. Hope you found it helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.